Awesome. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you for coming back for another Meet Your Therapist episode. Today we are with Maura. So, Maura, can you give a little introduction about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, it's so nice to meet you. I am Maura, and I'm a licensed professional counselor associate under the supervision of the wonderful Emily Moorhead. And I'm a psychotherapist here at the Couch, and I primarily take clients in the Colleyville office and virtually in Texas.
Love that. Yes, we're so excited to have Maura on the team. So, Maura, tell us, how did you get here? What made you become a therapist?
Mm.
What kind of led you down this path?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's so many reasons that I'm a therapist, but I would say the biggest thing that got me here was just my love for building authentic connections. I will often say that it's really, really difficult to struggle, but it's even more difficult to feel alone in the struggle. So just in my personal life, I've experienced so much healing and meaning that has come from my relationships and just having people support me. And so I think that I find a lot of like purpose and meaning in getting to be that for someone else, getting to just sit with someone and be present as they go through the ups and downs of life. Knowing that like they can trust me and they can be their authentic selves around me. And yeah, just kind of that building relationships is my why of being a therapist and my why in life in general.
I love that so much. And I feel like that is so key. That is very, reoccurring that I've noticed too with therapists is like, hey, I've gotten here because I have had my own struggles and I've learned what it does feel like to feel like I get support and connection. And so then getting to use that for someone else too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then tell me a little bit about if you had a new client, like how would you describe therapy with you? What does that look like?
Mm. Yeah, that's such a good question. I would say I really, really value curiosity and open-mindedness.
Mhm.
So therapy with me might look like me asking a lot of questions and sometimes questions that might seem obvious. But it comes from me wanting to deeply and accurately understand the client. Um, so like if they're talking about feeling sad or happy or like I've been there, I've felt these things, but what it looks like for them might be different than what it looks like for me. And so I ask a lot around like about what the client's experience is of what they're going through and how they're feeling. So I'd say that's one thing to expect. I also like a good balance of like focusing on growth and like what are your goals? What do you want to work on and improve on? But also, can we hold space for who you are as you are right now and celebrate your strengths and accept yourself and build self-worth? So, kind of finding a balance between the growth that you're hoping to have in here, but also like knowing that you're enough with just like who you are. Um, so that's a big thing. What else? I talk a lot about emotions. I like to dig into emotions, um, and kind of explore all of the different emotions that might be coming up in experience, like in an experience, and hold space for all of those. But with that, I also really like to move at the client's pace. So I check in a lot. I like to be flexible. I don't want them to get too overwhelmed, but I do want to push them out of their comfort zone. So kind of walking that line and exploring that with each client to see what feels best for them. But yeah, those are a few things that come to mind.
I mean, what good answers that they all were. And I feel like a big piece of theme that I've heard was just like, following your client's lead of like
Yeah.
giving them permission to advocate and change directions in therapy,
Yeah.
and also still get to gently challenge them so they still feel like,
100%.
okay, I'm still making the goals I need, but I also get to have a say in this space too, which
Mhm.
is so
Yeah.
empowering.
Yeah, that's huge for me is just wanting to make this a space where they feel safe, and comfortable and feel like they can be themselves and say, "Whoa, this is feeling like a lot." And kind of just being flexible and following their lead, but also pushing them, like you said, to work on what they're coming here to work on. I want this to be a meaningful time for them, and I want it to be helpful for them. I don't want it to hurt too much. I know therapy is going to be difficult from time to time, um, but I want them to feel safe in that difficulty and in the scariness of exploring these really heavy things that they're going through.
Yeah, just so relational, like you said, it sounds like
Mm.
really just caring about the person first, and then
Yeah,
you kind of handle everything after that too.
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about like what kinds of populations that you like working with.
Yeah. I've worked with a big variety of populations, so very open to anything, but I really love working with clients going through big life transitions and all of the emotions that come with that. So, grief about like what I'm losing from this previous stage of life, anxiety about the uncertainty and change that comes with transition and going into this next stage of life, navigating self worth through all of that. What else? Touching on like, who am I and what meaning and purpose can I find in this next stage of life? Kind of all of those factors that come with big life transitions, and big changes. And like I said, I always like I'm huge on relationships, and so I really enjoy working with couples, and supporting them through any relational struggles that they might be dealing with or any just like life struggles that they might be going through together. So really enjoy working with couples too.
Yeah, it's been so fun to hear about just kind of the growth that you've gotten to have in that couples work and kind of finding like your space in that. And then also something that a lot of people wouldn't know about more is it's just kind of worked out to where you got to have a lot of work with not only people kind of dealing with like breakups, but then like the self-worth that gets
Yeah.
tied to the breakups. That's just kind of happened to become a niche of yours as well.
Yeah, it has been. And it's been really rewarding to get to sit with people in all of those things that come with a breakup, and the struggles with self-worth. I feel like so often we just tie grief to like death, and that is a huge piece of grief, but there's so much loss that can happen in other areas of our life too, whether it's going through a breakup or losing your job or just changing careers or even for exciting things like becoming a parent or entering into marriage or things like that. It can feel there can be, like, this ambiguous grief that comes up with it of, my identity is changing a little bit, and the things that I prioritize in life are changing a little bit, and so there's definitely a self-worth journey that comes with that of, "Okay, who am I in this role, and is who I am enough?" And it is, but it takes time to kind of navigate, and start to really believe that about yourself.
Absolutely. And I think that's so special that you get to offer a space for that because, as you said, I think sometimes when we're in those life transitions, we're just go, 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 or we're so in the present that sometimes we have to put our own identity or
Mhm.
awareness for ourselves to the side to
Yeah.
get through whatever's happening. But
Mhm.
getting to have that space with you where you get to say, hey, like that's what's important here is let's talk about self worth and like your
Mhm.
breakups or other types of transitions that you have going on in life too.
Absolutely. That's something I love about therapy is life is go, go, go. There's so much going on in our world, and it's so hard to, like, pause and say, "Okay, how am I doing? Let me check in on myself. Let me work on these personal growth areas that I wanna work on." It's so hard to just take time for that, and so it's cool with therapy, whether it's every week or every other week or whatever, it's nice to just, like, have that time set aside of amongst all of the busyness, amongst all of the go, 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 I'll have this hour where I can just pause and reflect on myself and process how I'm doing amongst all of the go, go, go. So I love that this is a space for that.
Yeah, so much care and intentionality in that space too.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so curious for you, if you did have a new client,
Mm.
what would you want them to know about like you?
Mm. I think this is something that we already kind of touched on, but that I'm a human. I have knowledge and I'm equipped to support them, but I am not the expert of their life and I'm still just figuring out life myself. And so I want it to be a journey where I come alongside them, as they navigate their life and their journey. I want them to know that it's gonna be really collaborative, and it's gonna be a growth space for the both of us. I don't know everything, and I don't want to, claim that I do, and I make mistakes, and, I'm going through hard things, and I have things that I'm doing to take care of myself amongst those hard things, but I also want them to know that, like, I'm a human, and I might not know exactly what they're going through, but I've been through the difficult emotions, and I'm still figuring out how to navigate those emotions. So let's work on figuring it out together.
I love that so much. I think it is just that reminder, like you said, that we're human.
Mm.
We've gone to therapy before too. Like
Yeah.
we're still figuring out our own life and taking
Yeah.
care of ourselves to be there for our clients. But um, I feel like when you open that door of awareness to that, it really helps build that relationship between
Mhm.
you and your client because it doesn't have to be this hierarchy. It doesn't have to feel like a
Yeah.
doctor's office. Like you are just sitting with them and where
100%.
they're at, and you're coming in as you can, and you guys are working together to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to say, we're both human. And so I might make mistakes in session, and I'm gonna have grace for you and you can have grace for me. And like just it's cool to build that sort of relationship where we can both be vulnerable humans. And yeah, just having that space of I'm not gonna give you advice directly or tell you what to do because what I might do in my life might be totally different than what might work for you. And so just kind of taking into account each other's contexts and realizing we're both humans and we're just doing our best.
I love that. And so, okay, tell me a little bit about as our office is mainly kind of a attachment based,
Mm.
therapeutic, orientation. Tell me a little bit about, if you could talk to little you, like what would you want to say to her?
Yeah, that's such a good question. And it can go in many directions. I would say the biggest thing I'd want to say is that life might not go as expected or planned, but your life is really full and you are enough and you are strong and you are loved. I think throughout my life, and I mean, this is part of the human experience, is the struggle with comparing yourself to others, um, and kind of like having that impact your self-worth. But I think something that I've really struggled with throughout my life, and it was a big lesson I learned, was to stop comparing myself to my future self. I feel like I always would get in the mindset of like, I have these goals. I'll be happy when I get to these things. My life will feel full when I achieve this goal or reach this dream or anything like that. And so I think it was really important for me to come to that realization of I can have goals and I can be excited about the future. But I can also, while having that, I can also be content where I'm at right now. And I can find so much meaning and purpose and value in my life and in who I am right now, even if growth is still something that I want to experience. I think that's a big thing that I would tell my younger self is you can be excited about the future, but also live in the moment and value who you are um and know that who you are and where you're at right now is enough. Because the future goals that I have, it's not guaranteed I'll reach them. So I don't wanna depend my happiness and my fulfillment in life on those things, even though it would be great if I get those goals and, have that future I envision. It's likely not going to go as expected or planned, so just reminding myself to be content where I'm at now, and focus time on that, along with being excited about the future.
I love that so much, and I feel like that goes back to the theme that we've already kind of shared of like
Mhm.
life can just feel like we're on the go, 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 and like how important it is really to try and be present and get to enjoy things when they're
Absolutely.
coming.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll always say that. I'm like, "Don't compare yourself to your future self." I feel like it's
Mhm.
easier for me to catch if I'm starting to compare myself to others, but I don't often recognize when I'm comparing myself to my own self. So I like to, yeah, have a little reminder there that I can be present and find, yeah, a lot of meaning where I'm at now
Mhm.
amongst all of the craziness, even if I am excited for a next stage of life, or even if I am like, okay, this thing's really stressing me out right now, but come in a couple months it won't be as stressful or something like that. I can be excited about those things and look forward to just getting through sometimes, but even as I get through, finding the beauty in that journey.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of a fun question.
Okay.
If you were to be, if a movie was going to be made about your life,
Mm.
like who would play you?
Oh, okay. Hmm. That's a tough one. I would say the first, I have a couple that come to mind. I would say maybe like Jennifer Lawrence or like Katherine Heigl.
Mhm.
Not looks wise for either of them, but I feel like they are actresses who I don't know, are fairly like down to earth. They'll like joke around, make mistakes, be themselves, and like own it, and just keep it real. And so it kind of goes along with that theme that we've been talking about this whole time is just being authentic, in the therapy room or in a movie, or if it's a movie about my life as a therapist. I just feel like they seem genuine and authentic, just as individuals in real life that hopefully they could kind of capture that authenticity and bring it into the therapy room in a movie to represent that that's a value of mine. And I love movies there, and I know Katherine Heigl with 27 Dresses. I love that movie.
Yeah.
And I also like Jennifer Lawrence in Silver Linings Playbook. So I like their movies, and I feel like they capture that authenticity that is a big part of who I am.
Yes, I love both of them so much. And you're so right. They really are two great options for actresses that kind of show, it seems like you said, a really true version of themselves in movies and then even in interviews. And so I love that you picked both of them because like you said, people know when you think of Jennifer Lawrence, like, oh, she's got a personality, she's
Mhm.
quirky, she makes mistakes, but she's authentic in that. And so I think that is such a good pairing.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, they're good ones.
Okay. The next round, we're going to do rapid fire questions. And so I'm going to
Okay.
ask a couple questions and you hit me with what comes up for you. Okay. So number one,
Mhm.
what is your go-to self-care after a long day of being a therapist?
Yeah. I said it before, relationships, hands down, just spending time with my people, is just the most important thing to me. And I have like people that I'm super close with. I've got two little sweet nephews, and I've got just my family. My mom's a great support system, my sister, and my boyfriend, and just all of those people. I have some close friends that like I can just be myself around and relax. And so it feels very fulfilling getting to spend time with them. I feel like when it comes to like introvert, extrovert, I'm very much so in the middle. Um,
Mhm.
and so it's fun when I have those people that are really close to me that like it doesn't take energy to be around them. I can just be myself, relax. They lift me up and they are just lights in my life. And so I would say that's my favorite self-care activity after a long day is just calling one of my people or going to hang out with one of my people and just, yeah, getting to relax and do nothing with someone I care about.
Yes, I love that so much. You get to take your like therapist hat off and like
Mhm.
just be Mora,
Yeah.
the aunt or the sister, the family member or the friend. And
Absolutely.
so I love that so much. Like, let
Yeah.
me fill my cup up with that connection piece again.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Love that. Okay. Number two, what sets you up for a good day?
Mm. I would say waking up early enough to take my time getting ready sets me up for a good day. I get so much more anxious throughout the day if I start out like rushed trying to get to wherever I have to go. And so it's nice if I wake up early enough that I can take my time getting ready, maybe have some quiet time, or get to chat with my mom or my boyfriend before I like head out into the busyness of the day. Just kind of puts me in a good headspace to be able to move at a good pace rather than like rushing and scrambling to get to the office or wherever I have to go.
Yeah, I love that. So, question for you, are you a morning person, a night
Mm.
person? Between like, what's kind of the best times for Mora?
That's a great question. I would say I'm a morning person. I like waking up early, and I can handle nights. Like I'm fine with a late night here and there.
Mhm.
Um, but I notice I feel so much more energized and so much more myself, when I wake up early. Even if I get the same amount of sleep, if I go to bed later and wake up later compared to if I go to bed earlier and wake up earlier, yeah, just feel a lot more alive and excited and me when I have that earlier, wake up and just kind of have a productive morning, even if productivity looks like sitting around and like reading a book or getting to take a long shower or something like that. Just like getting up and getting to do something that can take care of myself before I start my day.
Yeah. I love that so much. Like it sounds like to me like, okay, I gotta kind of start my day with some self-care to
Mhm.
kind of get through it and then can always finish up with it at the end of the day
Yeah,
too. But starting it sounds like that's important to you.
yeah, absolutely.
Fun, fun. Okay. Number three, if you had kind of a theme song to your
Mm.
life as a therapist, what would that look like?
Ooh, a theme song for therapy. Oh, I would say again, I feel like I'm repetitive with these answers, but I again it goes back to kind of that authentic connection. I would say Spotless by Zach Bryan and the Lumineers. It is a great song and it has a line. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but it says something like, "You gave me love, you gave me the truth." And it talks, and the whole song is about like, I'm not spotless, neither are you. And so I think that captures a lot of what um, I love about therapy is I'm just showing up as a human, you're showing up as a human. And so we so badly want connection in our lives. But so often to get that connection, we kind of become who we think other people want us to be. And then that connection doesn't feel as fulfilling as we wanted it to be because they the other person built a relationship with who I'm pretending to be rather than who I really am. And we just want to be loved and valued and accepted for who we really are. And so I like that that song captures like love, like it equates love to the truth of um like just showing up in a relationship as your vulnerable authentic self, as who you truly are, is going to be so much more rewarding. And I love that therapy can be a space for you to show up that way and feel understood and valued um for who you are. So probably that song.
So sweet. I love that answer so much. And also just like a good song too, right? Like if you were
Song.
gonna have a theme song, like
Yeah.
what a great way to kind of start the day in that too, but also like you said, kind
Yeah.
of the hidden meaning behind it all too.
Yeah, I love that. It's a really good song. If you haven't heard it, listen to it.
Okay, and then my last rapid fire question.
Okay.
If we were to have a therapy retreat, is it going to be at the beach? Is it going to be at the mountains?
Mm,
What's your preference?
okay. You know, I'm typically a beach girl. I am a big fan of the beach, but I feel like for a therapy retreat, I might go mountains. Just for the coziness, like just I feel like that would be such a good setting to like get cozy and just connect and process things. And there's so much beauty. I'm sure it'd have a beautiful view and I feel like that'd just be so fun. Being in the mountains. Therapy is such a journey. Um, and I feel like there's so much work that can be done with the mountain analogy. Like I feel like
Yes.
that is just going up the mountain. I feel like there can be so much done there too. So usually a beach girl, but I think for a therapy retreat, mountains would be a good time.
Yeah, good to know there's a difference. So I'm hearing for you, yeah, if it's unrelated to this work, we're
If
going
I'm
to the
just
beach.
going on vacation to
Yeah.
relax, then
Yes, but if
I
you're
would probably go
hosting,
beach.
yeah, if
Yeah,
you're hosting like a couples retreat, we're gonna take them to the mountains.
yeah.
We're gonna be wearing, comfy
Let's get
clothes,
super
cuddled up
cozy.
in a
Yeah.
blanket.
Sit by a fireplace and
Yes.
have some coffee or tea or hot chocolate or whatever. And yeah, I
Yes.
love that. Good vibes.
That sounds amazing. I want to go right now.
I know. Can we plan it?
I love it. Okay, we'll get right on
Yeah.
it. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you. This was so fun.
Yay. Okay, well, for anyone listening, Maura takes clients at the Colleyville office and is also virtual. And you can learn a little bit more about her on our website. So, again, thank you, Maura, for being here. And we
Absolutely.
hope everyone has a good rest of their day.
Yay. Thank you. Have a good day.